This is a Fox News alert. We have just gotten word that the three-judge court deciding whether Joran Vandersloot will be rearrested has made its decision. Joran Vandersloot's attorney, Joe Tacopina, joins us on the phone. Joe, what did the court decide?
Decided to deny the appeal of the public prosecutor. Joran will not be rearrested, and hopefully, that will be the end of this latest episode of this case.
Did the court say why it was denying the prosecutor's request to rearrest him?
Yes, they basically outlined their reasons, and what they said was that there are no new facts or new evidence that have given rise to a new arrest since the investigation against Joran was dismissed in December. They said only these statements that Joran gave while he was, given marijuana and under the influence of marijuana by the person trying to elicit the statements. The statements are, in fact, disprovable in large part by the evidence the court opined, and that Joran now denies the veracity of these statements, and then gave a reason in an interview with police a little over a week ago as to why it was that he gave these statements. So there are no new objective facts, and they believe that there is no evidence, no evidence that's any different than there was when Joran was released in December to reincarcerate him.
All right, but to be absolutely precise, what they're saying is that they have no evidence based on his statement which would constitute a crime that would meet the standard for which you make an arrest of Joran in the Netherlands out of Aruba. But the fact remains is that the investigation remains open, and the prosecutor has every right to go out and try to corroborate it, right? Absolutely,
and they got permission. We didn't even appeal the fact that the prosecution got permission to reopen their investigation. I mean, that was not certainly subject of our appeal, and we didn't oppose that. But it was detaining Joran again for a third time. And look, the prosecution has done their, and I hope they do their investigation, because one thing I think this court was persuaded by was the fact that a lot of what Joran said in this little snippet of 20 hours of tape was not only internally inconsistent, but was inconsistent with the evidence that was ironclad that they have already collected to date. So the statement is easily disprovable, as the court agreed. Two courts now. First, the judge who's been overseeing this case, now a three-judge panel, has denied the prosecution's request.
All right. Well, nobody said that he isn't a murderer, and I know that you're going to deny that he's a murderer, but so let me just ask you this question. What's wrong with your client? I mean, they're the most immoral statements that I've ever heard on tape.
Yeah, Greta, first of all, let me just say this. Even if you accept his statements as true, if he doesn't, no one says that he admits to being a murderer. I mean, even if you accept those ridiculous statements as true, he says that, in those statements that he watched Natalee in some sort of a drug-induced state or something, have a seizure and die. But listen, he's also given 3 different versions in that 20-hour snippet of tape. And what's wrong?
But what's his problem? Why is he so immoral? Why does he think that's okay to say it? Actually, I mean, what's his problem?
Look, I'm not going to sit. Look, I'm as angry as his parents are at Joran. He needs to really get some assistance, get some help as far as putting his life back together. There's no question about that, Greta. I don't think he thinks it's okay to say what he said. I tell you, he feels absolutely distraught over what he's done and what he's done.
You know what, though, Joe? It's the kind that feels distraught after he gets caught. I mean, that's the way it appears to me, is that he felt distraught when he got caught. He didn't feel distraught when he was sitting there talking and bragging.
Greta, I can't argue with you on that. I cannot. I will point out, though, that this clown, this manipulative criminal who was trying to induce these statements and sort of kept pushing Joran for these statements, prying him with drugs. I mean, can you imagine a law enforcement officer in this country giving someone drugs and getting them in a state of inebriation, getting him high, and then getting him to say things? I mean, the words came out of Joran's mouth. He's got to live with it, and he's got to work on being a better person. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we're all unhappy with what he's done.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, Greta.
Let's bring in the legal panel. Joining us live, San